Welcome to VetParent Podcast, the podcast made by veterinarians with the help of AI. Here you will find everything you need to know about your furry friend. In today's episode, we will be talking about
If you've just welcomed a tiny, adorable, sharp-toothed hurricane into your home, then first off, congratulations.
And welcome to what we call the puppyhood minefield.
It really is. That period from, say, 8 weeks to 6 months, it's just this incredibly high-stakes transition.
It is. This isn't just a cute phase you get through. This is the window that sets the absolute foundation for your dog's adult health, their immunity, their behavior, everything.
And the amount of advice out there is just, it's overwhelming. A lot of it's outdated, too.
Exactly. So that's our mission in this deep dive. We're taking the clinical protocols, the stuff from major veterinary organizations, and translating it.
We're giving you the parent translations. We want you to walk away from this knowing exactly what your vet team knows and why they know it.
We've boiled it down to the absolute non-negotiables.
We're
going to talk about the golden windows that, if you miss them, can cause lifelong problems.
We'll also get into some surprising nutrition mistakes that can actually damage a large breed puppy's joints for life.
And we will audit your kitchen for some hidden killers you probably don't even know are there.
Okay, so let's jump right in with the number one conflict, the one that causes so much anxiety for new owners.
Oh, I know this one.
The battle between socialization and vaccination.
It's the biggest tightrope walk. You have these two incredibly critical timelines, and they just seem to crash right into each other.
Let's unpack the first one, the behavioral side.
Okay, so there's this period where a puppy's brain is, let's say, plastic. It's incredibly receptive to new information.
Famous golden window.
Exactly.
Huh?
And it is shockingly narrow. It runs from about 3 to 14 weeks of age.
That is so short. Most people don't even get their puppy until 8 weeks.
Right, which means you only have about 6 weeks left of that primary window.
So what's the goal during that time?
The goal is exposure. The consensus among behaviorists is, well, it's pretty ambitious. You want to expose your puppy to roughly 100 new people, sounds, and surfaces.
100? That sounds like a lot.
It does, but that sheer quantity of positive, low-stress exposure is what builds a resilient adult dog. It's the foundation for preventing fear and aggression down the road.
Okay, so here's where I have to play the new owner, because my first thought is, no way.
I get it.
The fear of parvovirus is so real. It's deadly. So you're telling me I should risk parvo just to maybe prevent some fear issues years from now?
It's a totally valid question, and the answer really comes down to statistics. Parvo is absolutely terrifying, but it's also preventable if you manage the exposure carefully.
But the behavioral risk is worse.
Tragically, yes. The behavioral risk, the risk of that puppy developing intense fear or aggression that leads to bites, is statistically greater than the risk of infection.
You're saying we lose more dogs to behavioral problems.
The leading cause of death for healthy dogs under 3 is behavioral euthanasia. So we simply cannot wait until that final vaccine at 16 weeks.
Which is why we need what we call the safety hack, this idea of parvo-safe socialization.
Right. It's all about controlled exposure. The socialization has to happen, but their little paws do not touch potentially contaminated public ground.
So what does that look like in practice?
You use a puppy carrier, a stroller, a wagon. You carry them through the hardware store. You sit on a blanket at a park so they can see and hear the world.
Their feet just don't touch the ground.
Exactly. And you can absolutely visit homes with other dogs as long as you know for a fact those adult dogs are healthy and fully vaccinated.
That gives them that crucial dog-on-dog communication practice.
Yes. And don't forget surface training. Get them walking on grass in your own yard, tile floors, maybe a metal grate on a clean patio.
Why is that so important?
It prevents adult substrate phobias. A lot of dogs freak out at the vet because they have to stand on a cold metal scale they've never felt before. You can prevent that meltdown right now.
Okay, so that's the behavioral window.
Okay.
Now let's tackle the immunology side of it.
Yeah.
The science behind that whole series of booster shots.
This is fascinating. It all comes down to something called maternally derived antibody interference, or MDA.
Let's use the safety shield analogy.
Perfect. So when a puppy nurses from its mom in those first few days, it gets colostrum, which is packed with her antibodies. It's like a temporary safety shield.
Which sounds like a great thing.
It is, but it's also a problem because that maternal antibody shield, it simultaneously blocks the vaccine from working.
So the shield is protecting them, but also preventing their own body from learning to protect itself.
Precisely. The vaccine is trying to teach the puppy's immune system, but the shield neutralizes it before it can get the lesson across.
And the problem is we don't know when that shield wears off.
We have no idea. It's totally unpredictable. It could be gone at 8 weeks or it might stick around until 20 weeks. So there's this dangerous, invisible window of vulnerability.
Where the maternal shield is gone, but the vaccine hasn't taken yet.
Exactly. And that's why the clinical protocol demands a series of boosters, usually every 3 to 4 weeks, until they are at least 16 weeks old.
You're just trying to make sure a vaccine dose is there the moment that shield finally drops.
That's the whole strategy. And I have to stress this. If you miss that final 16-week booster, the immune system might never get that critical lock-in for diseases like parvo or distemper.
And there's even a newer guideline now, right?
There is. The 2024 WSAVA guidelines now often recommend one more booster at or after 26 weeks, so at 6 months old, just for extra certainty.
So that two-pronged approach, safe socialization and strict vaccination, is the key.
It's the secret to a stable, healthy adult dog.
That makes so much more sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've covered long-term health. Let's talk about the immediate crisis in the living room. The land shark chewing on your hands.
Ah, yes. The number one complaint from every new puppy owner is the biting, the mouthing.
We need to understand the why here first, right?
Absolutely. They are learning something crucial called bite inhibition. They're figuring out how to use their mouths gently, and that's how they learn.
How do they learn that in the litter?
If one puppy bites a sibling too hard, that sibling yelps loudly, and the game stops instantly.
So the fun ends.
The fun ends. That negative feedback teaches them pressure control, and we have to mimic that.
But the human instinct is to punish, maybe grab their muzzle.
Which is the worst thing you can do. Never hit their nose or pin them down. All that does is create a dog who is hand-shy or even fearful of you.
So what's the right move?
It's the freeze and redirect method. The second you feel sharp teeth, you let out a high-pitched ow.
And you stop everything.
You freeze, all movement, all play stops. Then, after a beat, you calmly redirect their mouth onto a toy they are allowed to chew on.
So you're not punishing, you're just teaching the rules of the game.
Exactly. You're channeling that natural urge to chew onto something appropriate.
I love that this connects to what the experts call cooperative care training.
Or fear-free husbandry. This is non-negotiable. It's about getting them used to being handled from day one.
What does that involve?
Little things, every day. Gently touch their paws, look inside their ears, lift their lips to see their teeth, and follow it immediately with a high-value treat.
You're basically rehearsing a vet exam.
You are desensitizing them to it. So when they're 60 pounds and have a painful ear infection, they don't panic when the vet needs to look inside. It prevents so much stress and fear later on.
Okay, what about housebreaking? That's another big one. The crate is key here.
It is, but it has to be their den, not their prison.
What's the distinction?
Dogs are instinctively clean. They don't want to soil their sleeping area. So the number one rule is you never use the crate for punishment or a timeout.
It has to be a safe space.
They're bedrooms. You put special high-value treats in there that they don't get anywhere else. You build a powerful positive association.
So if there's an accident in the house, it's the owner's fault, not the puppy's.
100%. You missed a cue. The rule of thumb is a puppy can hold it for 1 hour for every month of age, plus one.
So a 3-month-old can go for about 4 hours, max.
Max. And you have to take them out frequently. After they wake up, after they eat, after they play hard.
And take them to the same spot every time.
Yes. The moment they finish, not 5 seconds later, but the moment they're done, you reward them with huge praise or a tiny treat. That timing is what locks in the lesson.
Let's shift into the kitchen for our clinical deep dive. Let's talk nutrition, because this is where things can go wrong fast, especially for bigger dogs.
This is a point that is so often missed. You cannot feed a Great Dane puppy the same way you feed a Yorkie. It is medically dangerous.
Dangerous how? What's the science?
It's all about their growth plates. Large and giant breeds grow incredibly fast. If you feed them a standard puppy food, it's too high in calories. It makes them grow even faster.
And that speed is the problem.
It puts tremendous mechanical stress on their soft, developing joints. And that leads directly to things we call developmental orthopedic diseases, or DOD.
Things like hip dysplasia.
Exactly. Hip dysplasia, elbow dysplasia, osteochondrosis. Painful, lifelong conditions that are often completely preventable.
So the parent translation here has to be loud and clear.
It does. The food bag must explicitly say large breed puppy formula. That is not a marketing gimmick. It's a medical requirement for lower calorie density to slow that growth rate down.
And it's not just calories, it's minerals too, right?
Yes, specifically the calcium to phosphorus ratio. For large breeds, it has to be in a very strict range, ideally between 1.1 to 1 and 1.5 to 1.
Too much calcium is a bad thing.
Just as bad as too little. It can disrupt how the growth plates close. So adding supplements or home cooking without a veterinary nutritionist's guidance is really, really risky.
While we're looking at the bag, let's decode some of those labels with the AACO rules.
Great idea. You have to be a bit of a detective. So the 95% rule means if the bag says beef dog food, it has to be 95% beef.
But the key is to watch for extra words.
Right, like dinner or entree. That brings you to the 25% rule. A chicken dinner only needs to be 25% chicken.
And then there's the really small print.
That's the 3% rule. If it says dog food with salmon, it only has to contain 3% salmon. Knowing that helps you understand what you're actually paying for.
Okay, now for the truly scary stuff. The hidden killers in the kitchen.
Puppies explore with their mouths, so we need zero tolerance here. The first big one is grapes and raisins.
This isn't just an upset stomach.
No. This causes acute, irreversible kidney failure. And for a tiny puppy, even a single raisin can be toxic. They just cannot be accessible, period.
And then there's the xylitol crisis. It seems to be in more and more things.
It is, and it's terrifying. Xylitol, which is also called birch sugar, is profoundly toxic to dogs. It causes a massive, immediate insulin surge.
Which leads to what?
A catastrophic drop in blood sugar, so fatal hypoglycemia, which is then often followed by acute liver failure. It happens incredibly fast.
And it's hiding in places you wouldn't expect.
This is why you have to do a kitchen audit right now. It's in sugar-free gum, candy, some baked goods, and this is the big one, some peanut butters.
Peanut butter is a classic training treat.
Which is what makes it so dangerous. You have to read the label, look for xylitol, but also its aliases. Birch sugar, wood sugar, E967, and mesoxylitol. If you see any of those, it's a poison to your dog.
That is critical information. One ingredient can turn a reward into a tragedy.
It absolutely can.
Okay, let's cover a few final checks. These are for long-term safety and just as important for owner sanity.
Let's start with parasites, and the translation here is that this is about family health, not just puppy health.
Because these things can spread to people.
They can. They're zoonotic. The big one we worry about with puppies is roundworms, Toxocara canis.
What happens if a person gets it?
If the eggs are accidentally ingested, say by a child playing in the yard, the larvae can migrate through the body and cause organ damage or even eye issues.
So deworming is a public health measure for the whole house.
It is. The AHA protocol is aggressive. Deworming starts at 2 weeks of age, and it's repeated every 2 weeks. And we need at least 4 fecal exams in that first year to be sure.
We have to move from physical health to mental health now. The owner's mental health.
Yes. We have to talk about the puppy blues.
It's so real, isn't it?
It's so real. And owners feel this immense guilt for feeling overwhelmed or even regretful. But it is normal. It's temporary.
What do the numbers say?
Some studies show that up to 70% of new owners experience these feelings. It's mostly driven by just profound sleep deprivation.
So what's the actionable advice? How do you get through it?
Protect your sleep. Set up sleep shifts with partner if you can. Use the crate for enforced nap time so you can get a break. Hire a sitter for an hour.
You can't pour from an empty cup.
You can't. And your puppy needs you to be consistent, which you can't be if you're exhausted and resentful.
Okay, last safety check. Permanent identification.
The microchip. It's a non-negotiable step. It's a tiny chip with a 15-digit code that links back to you if your puppy ever gets lost.
But there's a huge catch.
A huge one. The chip is completely useless if your contact information in the registry isn't registered and, more importantly, kept up to date.
People move and forget to update it.
All the time. We scan lost dogs, and the chip links back to a phone number that's been disconnected for 5 years. It's heartbreaking. So please, register it and update it every time you move.
We've covered a lot of ground. Critical timelines, safety hacks, medical needs, hidden dangers.
The big takeaway really is that this pediatric period is all about synchronization. The clinical stuff, like vaccines and nutrition, has to be perfectly aligned with your parenting. The socialization and training.
These timelines aren't suggestions.
They're non-negotiable for a healthy, stable, lifelong companion.
And to wrap this up, let's leave you with one last piece of nutritional science that ties everything together. Let's talk about DHA.
Right, docosahexaenoic acid. It's an omega-3 fatty acid. It's recommended in puppy food at least 0.02% on a dry matter basis.
And it's not just for general health. It does something very specific.
It's been proven to improve auditory and retinal development, so hearing and sight, but also, and this is the key part, to enhance learning capacity.
So the food you give them can literally make them smarter and easier to train.
That direct, measurable link between a specific nutrient and their neural development, it just raises a fascinating question.
Go on.
Well, if we know that optimal DHA in these first few months can make a puppy a better learner, what does that really mean for the rest of their life? We're not just talking about easier housebreaking. We're talking about potentially building the very structural foundation of that adult dog's intelligence, its adaptability, its resilience. That connection between a lipid and lifelong neural potential is just an incredible frontier.